actually my wheelhouse, and I would just need to hear from experts about what's possible technically here. But I'm imagining that paradoxically or ironically, this could usher in a new kind of gatekeeping that we're going to rely on, because like the provenance of information is going to be so important. I mean, the assurance that a video has not been manipulated, that it's not just a pure confection of deep fakery. Right? So it could be that we're meandering into a new period where you're not going to trust a photo unless it's coming from Getty Images, or the New York Times has some story about how they have verified every photo that they put in their newspaper. They have a process, and so if you see a video of Vladimir Putin seeming to say that he's declaring war on the U.S., right? I think most people are going to assume that's fake until proven otherwise. It's just going to be too much fake stuff, and it's all going to look so good that the New York Times and every other organ of media that we have relied upon, as imperfect as they've been of late, they're going to have to figure out what the tools are whereby they can say, okay, this is actually a video of Putin, right? And if I'm not going to be able to figure it out on my own, right? If the New York Times doesn't have a process, or CNN doesn't have a process that they go through before they say, okay, Putin really said this, and so we have to now react to this because this is real. Whatever that process is, and whether there's some kind of digital watermark that that's connected to the blockchain, there's some tech implementation of it that can be fully democratized, where you, by just being in the latest version of the Chrome browser, can know.
I gotta what am I doing? Live.
You can differentiate real and fake videos. I don't know what the implementation will be, but I just know we're going to get to some spot.
The other way is tuning up, really? Wait, so which way is up? Two flat, tune up. This way's up. This way's down. This way's down. That sounds so off. I know Loki didn't like that, John. Tune up was this way, apparently. I'm tuning pretty tight, yo. Is it the other way or something? For real? How the fuck do you... Bro, which way's up? Oh, fuck. I was tuning the fucking wrong piece the whole time, bro. Fuck. Okay. I guess I can't do guitar. Just broke the string. So I guess we will have to buy strings, and we will need to, we will need to, yeah, we will need to, learn how to, learn how to, what is it called? Learn how to tune a guitar. We will need those two things. All right. I guess guitars, no more. So now we'll focus on the self-improvement video. We could do like focus music. Better by me doing a cold shower. I think such software that can help me do that, but it only works if I'm. Alright. So then we can... I guess I could just... My story of self-improvement started off a lot like other people. Went through a rough breakup, and I just wanted to feel but still with the hope that she would realize how this amazing guy that she wishes she could have. Which isn't even self-improvement because the improvement was never focused on the self. It was focused on her. Someone else. It was for them. So we can call stage 1 improving them. Improving for me. interesting. My camera died. Is it charging? It is. I guess I can focus on the other videos. Video ideas. No one's there, Loki. No one's there. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So we're on right now. You kind of smelly. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we can do alright, let's do we can make like a brainstorming section, I guess. Yeah, brainstorming section. It's a mistake I made. What did I learn from it? Did I already make a video on free will? Walking around the clock. What are we doing? What are we doing? What the? Wait, you look Loki? Like. Oh! Fuck, fuck, fuck. Oh my god, what the hell? What are we doing? You should be under here? Okay. So after mindfulness, we got, like, the potential of meditation, maybe. They're both pretty interesting, in my personal opinion.
We're going to look at 5 practical ways you can start using AI in your work or at school right now. And best of all, most of these are completely free to use. For example, you can analyze data, extract text, get feedback, and so much more. Let's check these out. First, we're going to look at how AI can help you save time in your email inbox. Because, let's be honest, we all spend far too much. This brings us to number 2. You can also have AI analyze data for you, and it does a surprisingly good job. Here I am now back in ChatGPT, and again, you could do this with many of the other AI chatbots. Down below, you'll see a paperclip icon. You can upload files into ChatGPT, and then you can have the AI analyze your data. When I click on this, here, you can pull data in from OneDrive, or here, Google Drive, or you can simply upload directly from your computer. I'll click on this, and this opens up the file picker. And right here, I have an Excel file that I would like to have the AI help me analyze. Now, this works with Excel files. You can also do it with Google Sheets, or maybe you just have a CSV file. Any of those file formats work. Here, I'll double click on this file. Before we have the AI analyze all this data, here we are in Excel, and you can have a quick preview of the data. This is order data for the Kevin Cookie Company. We have customers, we have order IDs, the product they ordered, the units sold, the date when it was sold, and the revenue and the cost. Now, of course, in Excel, I could enter in different formulas and functions, and also use pivot tables to try to make sense of this data. But let's see if maybe ChatGPT can help us with this. Here I am now back in ChatGPT, and I can now ask questions about this document. And this works so well. Down below, let's click into here, and I'll ask my first question. How many units did we sell in 2022? Over here, let's send it to the AI. And look at that, it now pulls in all of my data. And up above, I can see a data table with all of the data from that spreadsheet. Right down here, I also see the response to my question. In 2022, we sold a total of 1.379 million units. Let's jump back into Excel just to verify that. Here in Excel, I've highlighted all of my units sold, and down below we can see the sum is 1.379 million. So that is spot on. Let's now jump back into ChatGPT. Back now within ChatGPT, right up above where we have the data table. Here I can expand this, so this way all of my sales data sits alongside the chat interface. Now, in fact, I can highlight different data within my sheet, and then I can ask questions about those highlighted cells. So let's say, for example, I want to know what was the most popular product or cookie type. Over here, I'll highlight this column. So now the AI knows that I'm going to ask a question about this column. And right down below in the chat interface, now I can ask my question, what was the most popular cookie type? And let's see what it comes back with. And here it comes back and tells me that it was chocolate chip with a total of 583,000 units sold. Now, what's really neat is I can highlight just certain data. So let's say I want to know the median or the mean of just these cells. I could highlight just these cells, and then I could ask my question specific to these cells. So the data, right here. This brings us to number 3. Along with analyzing data, you can also analyze text and images. For example, a Word document, PDF, a text file, or even a PNG. One of my favorite examples, imagine you're a student in school. You can upload your textbook and then ask questions about it. Let's take a look. Here I am back in ChatGPT, and let's say that you're in English class and you're currently reading the book Romeo and Juliet. Down below, I'll click on the paperclip icon, and you can upload the book from your computer. Now, this book is currently in public domain. Right over here, I have the text for this entire play. I'll click on that, and that's now uploaded it directly into ChatGPT. And now the really neat thing is I can ask questions directly about this play. For example, let's say I want to know, how did Romeo meet Juliet? And over here, let's send it to the AI. And look at that, it looked through and analyzed all the text, and here it comes back and tells me that Romeo met Juliet at the Masquerade Ball. And then it also gives me some additional background. Now, imagine using this with your, say, chemistry textbook, or maybe your biology textbook, or maybe an annual report from a company. You could ask all sorts of questions about that text. And it's not just limited to simple questions like, how did Romeo meet Juliet? But here, for example, I could also ask a question like, how does it mock traditional romances? And here I could send that through. This is the type of question you might get on, say, an advanced placement test. And here it'll go through and it analyzes and gives me a very thorough response on how it mocks traditional romances. You can also use this for things like contracts. Upload a PDF contract.
New Mr. Beast allegations have just dropped, and it's not looking good for Jimmy. So last time we talked about Dogpack 404's viral video, where a former Mr. Beast employee exposes Jimmy for allegedly conducting illegal lotteries towards children, promoting gambling, faking his videos, forging signatures, manipulating who wins the prizes and monies in his game shows, and mostly giving it to his friends and employees rather than random viewers, and much more. Now, I mentioned in my last video that Mr. Beast was actually caught in the same Discord server where Chris Tyson was openly sharing prawn to minors. And now we have, allegedly, confirmation that it was indeed the real Jimmy, and it is seemingly provable by searching the archives and seeing that his account is linked to the Mr. Beast gaming channel, which is not possible unless you own the channel and can log in. Meaning, essentially, Mr. Beast lied in his response, saying that he just became aware of Chris's Chris's actions in the
This is
past
what a
few
personal
days,
rights plan-
when in reality, he knew all along. As we know, he had the lollipop art hanging from his living room wall, and he was in the same server as Chris, sending messages, and he was best friends with Chris for over a decade, and defended him until the recent drama. Now, it actually gets worse for Mr. Beast and Chris, because 500,000 messages have been released to the public from that Discord server. Keep in mind, this is after Chris and his squad wiped out every message that they thought was incriminating, but there's still so many left. Moreover, Lava, one of the victims who was groomed by Chris, now recognizes that it was inappropriate and wrong what was happening in the server. So let's go over these messages and explore this insane rabbit hole. Here we have
This
a
is
tweet
what
by
a-
Drama Alert, a thread of all the weird things Chris Tyson allegedly said in the Discord with minors. She's only 14. Damn. Okay, so these messages are from 2018. Somebody posted an attachment. Chris replies saying she's only 14. Damn. And this is allegedly BB, which I'm not gonna say her name, otherwise my last video got age restricted and demonetized, completely suppressed when I said her name. So what did you think she was? 16 and legal in some states. Oof, of course. If she's 14, I'm 14. Chris allegedly sharing links to the famed lollipop artist Shadman, and Chris has linked the website. Chris the meme god, also referred to as Lollipop God, is back. Designated Lollipop, yes it's me, yay you're back, ooh woo. What am I, a parent? Chris Tyson's alleged response to a request to delete an NSFW channel because there were minors in the Discord. I don't have any issue with the channel when I have an
Did you know that Mr. Beast's girlfriend just exposed him? Her name is Thea, and she revealed a couple of weird things about Mr. Beast that might actually blow your mind. She said that on a first date with Mr. Beast, he was too curious about her. But later she revealed that Mr. Beast actually was asking her 40 different questions to spot if she was a gold digger.
Little did I know he was actually going off a list.
Also, she revealed that Jimmy had a giant food bank near his studio because when Jimmy had more than 100 contestants for a video, he needs to feed them somehow. And it was a complete secret until today.
And he's like, oh yeah, that's my food bank.
Also, turns out Mr. Beast absolutely hates going on a normal dates, and when Thea and Mr. Beast just started dating, they have been just reading books and doing IQ tests together. And the final thing she revealed, that Mr. Beast called their cat Satan, because this cat scared them to death when they were walking outside one night with Mr. Beast. Did you know that Mr.
Passing this phone to the shortest human I've ever met.
Huh?
Questions about it, like, should I be concerned about any of these clauses? If you're going to upload a document to ask questions about it, you can turn it into what's called a custom GPT. That way you don't have to re-upload it every time you want to ask questions about that document. You can check out the video right up above, and I'll show you how you can set that up. Along with documents, ChatGPT also has an understanding of what's in photos. And once it understands what's in the photo, you can ask really interesting questions. Here, let's click on the paperclip icon again, and I'm going to upload a photo from my computer. Here's a nice looking photo of chocolate chip cookies. I'll click on that and then click on open. Of course, I see this beautiful photo, but what I really want to know is how do I make them? So down below, I can now type in the question, how do I make these? Can you generate a recipe? So I'm not even specifying what it is. So let's send that through to the AI. Let's now scroll back up, and right here we see the photo that I uploaded of chocolate chip cookies and my prompt. How do I make these? Can you generate a recipe? Now again, I never mentioned what type of cookies these were. And here we can see the AI's response. So here it correctly identifies that these are classic chocolate chip cookies. And then once it knows what they are, it comes back and provides me all of the ingredients and all of the instructions. That is so impressive. Number 4, you can use AI to extract text from images. This one is so useful. Back in ChatGPT, you guessed it, let's click on the paperclip icon and let's upload from computer. Here I have a whiteboard image from a brainstorming session at the Kevin Cookie Company. I'll click on open. Now it's nice having a picture of the whiteboard, but I'd rather have it as text. That way I could search against it and I could also add additional points. Now down below, I'll type in my message. Can you transcribe the writing on this whiteboard? And let's send that through to see what it comes back with. Here we can see the original whiteboard image with just handwriting. And look at that. It's able to analyze this whiteboard drawing and it extracts all the text. So up here you see it says sign in. Here we have sign in. Next, it also says Ask Questions or Ask Q. Here we see Ask Q. Then we have the section for Dashboard. And look at that, it even understands the hierarchy between all of these different items. So we have Dashboard, and then that's broken up into Plans, Budget, and Media. Here we see Plans, Budget, and Media, and all of the sub-items. That makes my life so much easier. This brings us to number 5. You can get feedback from AI on all of your work. It's basically like having a coworker who's always willing to review your work and gives you helpful feedback. It's always hard getting friends and family or even coworkers to give you honest feedback about your work, but luckily AI is willing to give you that feedback. Down below, let's click on the paper clip, and over here, I'll click on Upload from Computer. And here I have 2 different logos that I've designed for the Kevin Cookie Company, and I'm not quite sure which one to use. I'll select both of them and then click on Open. It's now uploaded those 2 images, and I can now ask questions about these images. For example, what do you think about these logos? Which one do you think is better for a family-friendly cookie company? And then I get a little bit of background about who our customers are, mostly children, families, and young adults. Let's see which one the AI thinks is better. And now if I scroll up here, I can see the 2 different logos. There we can zoom in. Here's one variation, kind of a nice clean logo. And over here we have kind of a more fun and whimsical logo for the Kevin Cookie Company. And look at this. Here it's able to look at these different images and it goes through and analyzes their strengths. So with the first one, it's clean and professional, but it also has weaknesses. It's not as playful or whimsical, so maybe it doesn't appeal to children as much. If I scroll down, here we see logo number 2, and it talks about the strengths. So it's more playful and also a friendly design with bright colors, but it's also seen as less professional. And then here it even comes back with a recommendation on which logo it believes is a better match for the target audience. And here it believes logo number 2 is. Now that is really thorough feedback, and you'd be hard-pressed to have your friends or family or coworkers to give you that level of feedback on your work. I also recommend asking AI for feedback on the text that you write. Chances are it'll have some really good recommendations and also suggestions which will ultimately make your communication better. For example, with this video, I have an introduction, but could I have made it better? So down below I could type in text. Could you give me feedback on this intro for a YouTube video? I'll insert a new line, and over here I can type in the intro that I used in this video, and I'm sure it'll come back with feedback. Over here, let's send this to the AI. And if I scroll up right up above, here I can see that it thought it was clear and engaging, but it does recommend some enhancements. And here I see a rewritten version. Now, of course, I don't need to keep all of it, but there are some parts that I think are probably better than what I had in this video. And down below, it also provides point-by-point feedback on why that is. Once again, I recommend doing this with all your writing because it will make it higher quality writing. We've now looked at all the practical ways that I've been using AI, but I want to show you one more that is so much fun. Head to the website suno.com. This is like the ChatGPT of music. You can generate your very own AI music. Over on the left-hand side, let's click on the option that says
If you don't have a technical background, but you still want to learn the basics of artificial intelligence, stick around because we're distilling Google's 4-hour AI course for beginners into just 10 minutes. I was initially very skeptical because I thought the course would be too conceptual. We're all about practical tips on this channel. And knowing Google, the course might just disappear after 1 hour. But I found the underlying concepts actually made me better at using tools like ChatGPT and Google Bard, and cleared up a bunch of misconceptions I didn't know I had about AI, machine learning, and large language models. So, starting with the broadest possible question, what is artificial intelligence? It turns out, and I'm so embarrassed to admit I didn't know this, AI is an entire field of study, like physics, and machine learning is a subfield of AI. Much like how thermodynamics is a subfield of physics. Going down another level, deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and deep learning models can be further broken down into something called discriminative models and generative models. Large language models, LLMs, also fall under deep learning, and right at the intersection between generative and LLMs is the technology that powers the applications we're all familiar with. ChatGPT and Google Bard. Let me know in the comments if this was news to you as well. Now that we have an understanding of the overall landscape and you see how the different disciplines sit in relation to each other, let's go over the key takeaways you should know for each level. In a nutshell, machine learning is a program that uses input data to train a model. That trained model can then make predictions based on data it has never seen before. For example, if you train a model based on Nike sales data, you can then use that model to predict how well a new shoe from Adidas would sell based on Adidas sales data. Two of the most common types of machine learning models are supervised and unsupervised learning models. The key difference between the two is supervised models use labeled data and unsupervised models use unlabeled data. In this supervised example, we have historical data points that plot the total bill amount at a restaurant against the tip amount. And here the data is labeled. Blue dot equals the order was picked up, and yellow dot equals the order was delivered. Using a supervised learning model, we can now predict how much tip we can expect for the next order given the bill amount and whether it's picked up or delivered. For unsupervised learning models, we look at the raw data and see if it naturally falls into groups. In this example, we plotted the employee tenure at a company against their income. We see this group of employees have a relatively high income to years worked ratio versus this group. We can also see all these are unlabeled data. If they were labeled, we would see male, female, years worked, company function, etc. We can now ask this unsupervised learning model to solve a problem like, if a new employee joins, are they on the fast track or not? If they appear on the left, then yes. If they appear on the right, then no. Pro tip. Another big difference between the two models is that after a supervised learning model makes a prediction, it will compare that prediction to the training data used to train that model. And if there's a difference, it tries to close that gap. Unsupervised learning models do not do this. By the way, this video is not sponsored, but it is supported by those of you who subscribe to my paid productivity newsletter on Google Tips. Link in the description if you want to learn more. Now we have a basic grasp of machine learning. It's
OpenAI's GPT-4o model is here, and one of the main questions is, what can I use this for? And that's why today we'll be looking at all the different use cases that OpenAI showed us, but also what the internet has come up with so far. If you want to learn about the details of this announcement, what it includes and how it works, I created a separate video on that I'll link on screen right now. But with that being said, let's get into some of the first use cases. We're starting out with their announcement blog post, but I'll be adding in various use cases that I found across the internet in between some of these, but this is a great place to start because they created a batch of videos showing off different things that you can do with it. And I'll just be giving you quick summaries and my take. You can watch all of these by yourself in full length if you so desire. Links below. But hold up, it doesn't even end there because look, a lot of people are viewing this channel and all of us are AI users. Some of us are AI power users. And I was just wondering, wouldn't it be amazing to find out what everybody that is watching this video actually uses this for? So we're doing a brand new thing where we issue a challenge and then we have a public space where you can review all the people's submission to the challenge. And the challenge is all about finding GPT-4o use cases that work for you. So stick around because at the end of the video, I'll give you more details and I'll tell you exactly how to participate and how to view what other people have been doing with GPT-4o. So let's actually start with a clip that came out in the recent hours. It's an interview of Sam Altman, and he was asked the following question. Now check out his answer, which hints at something that all of us might be doing in a few weeks here.
Are there use cases that you've gravitated to?
One surprising is putting my phone on the table while I'm like really in the zone of working, and then without having to like change windows or change what I'm doing, using it as like another channel. So I'm like working on something, I would normally like stop what I'm doing, switch to another tab, Google something, click around or whatever. But while I'm like still doing it, to just ask and get like an instant response without changing from what I was looking at on my computer, that's been a surprisingly cool thing.
So let's talk about this one on top. I think they picked this because it has the most human characteristics and it really shows the capability of this new version of ChatGPT to be an AI companion. Matter of fact, the voice is so hot that people across Twitter have been complaining. What is this? This is not an assistant. This is a flirty girlfriend.
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup.
AI girlfriends have arrived. And look, this is one of the big new improvements. It's way more human. It doesn't just express emotion, but it also understands emotion from the phone's camera right here. And here's just guessing something based on the information you provided with, which might not be very practical, but some of these others definitely are. So let's move on. Because in this example, Greg Brockman actually uses two phones with two GPT-4os talking to each other. And this shows some capability that we already had in GPT-4, but now it's upgraded to the next level. Namely, I'm talking about the capability of setting up multiple personas to have them talk to each other. With two phones, you can simulate various conversations, and you could apply this to your very own context. This conversation might be a debate you might be preparing for, or an argument. You could just play it out between the two phones. I mean, that's amazing, but also kind of freaky, right? And in the end, they also showed the ability for the app to modulate the voice, so it can sing for you. It can sound like a robot, like they showed in the demo. Have a quick listen.
We're a swift retreat.
A moment of joy and the stylish sweet.
This essentially hints at the fact that you're going to be able to filter the voice, just like I have a soundboard here and I can do things like this.
These capabilities are going to be very surprising to most. I can't wait to show my grandmother these updates.
Now your AI assistant is going to be able to do that too. And look, some of these use cases might seem like a nice toy to have, but if you get a little serious about it and you think about how this is applicable to some professional fields, you get something like this top comment on my latest YouTube video, which as I mentioned summarizes this entire update. As I asked for use cases that people are excited for, nail care here says melanoma detection, retina exams, pulmonary distress analysis. This one I'll quickly have to look up. Okay, so it's a diagnosis for breathing difficulties. And yeah, comments point out this is going to be for diagnosis, not treatment, but these things are amazing. And admittedly, this comment is a bit speculative, but as you can see, it clearly captured the imagination of a lot of people. And talking about work-related capabilities, apparently the benchmarks do translate to use cases, because as we looked at in the summary video, it performs better on almost all benchmarks when you compare it to the other best AI models in the market right now. And this includes upgrades to vision, but also things like the code interpreter, so you can actually upload files and do things like this now more effectively, where you give it an Excel sheet and it analyzes the spreadsheet and does deep technical and statistical analysis and generates charts and visualization. This is a very simple prompt that you could reapply to your own charts and get these results immediately. And this is not the voice assistant that might not be available to you yet. This is the GPT-4 model that all Plus users have now and all free users will have very soon. Okay, and here's one that really caught my interest. This comes from within the AI Advantage community, where a member used it to analyze the conflict between Drake and Kendrick. Not sure if you caught this recently, they're beefing publicly now and they created diss tracks about each other. And if you're not following this closely, it gets messy very quickly. There's a lot of news coming out. I personally am not following this closely, but look at this conversation with GPT-4o. He uploaded two CSV files that included the different events that happened with dates next to them. Now here's an important detail. These data sets also include Google Trends data with how popular were both Drake and Kendrick in Google search over the last 2 months. So how would you compile this into some visualization? I'm not exactly sure, but we don't have to worry about that. Let's just let GPT-4o figure this out. So the whole interaction starts by Daniel uploading these files and then prompting it. And then with simple conversational prompts, he managed to make sense of all of the data and throughout the conversation. If you want to read this, you can stop the video at any point in time. I'll slowly scroll over this. He managed to create visualizations on top of which he could iterate. I'll show you the final result here in a second, okay? Because this chat history doesn't include the images. But it basically goes ahead. It maps out everything that is in the Excel sheets. It reconstructs a timeline from all the events scattered across the Excel sheets. And then using the web browsing tool that is super snappy now because with increased speeds, it adds further context. So you can look for news stories